Yeah, maybe we can talk about the next thing because that's margins, of course. And Jim
Sure.
Farley said something very interesting about margins. So let's take a look.
We think basically that the car would be very difficult to make money on it. The F-150 Lightning was a complete pariah inside the company. Like most people were like, why are we doing that? That's a really stupid project. I watched the company kind of like literally try to kill the project.
So 2 points here. One side is the margins. So it's he slightly admitted here. It's kind of hard to make money on those things, and so it looks like they're far from reaching any healthy margins. But they have to go through this valley of death almost, because on the other side there is a van or a Ford product that is profitable, but they have to go through the valley of death. And the culture topic here is also it ties into this because they have to have a strong workers there that are going to go through this valley of death. And I think people will leave the company and there will be a hardcore engineers that will stay hopefully and help them go through this. But what's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's that's why what Jim and Ford are doing from a reporting perspective is so important for culture, because it drives accountability. So if the culture, obviously Ford had, maybe let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say they had a culture of folks trying to sabotage programs, like loosely. They're not really sabotaging. It's just they're not used to it. It's not part of their culture. To where now you've opened up the books, you're driving accountability, and you're saying, hey, this is the number. It needs to be positive. It can't stay negative forever. That's going to create change. And like you said, the ones that hate it will leave, and the ones that want to be part of it will stay. And it just goes back to those comments that Jim has made earlier about just the difficulty of transitioning and how much work they have to do to make this happen. It's just it's just another reconfirmation of this thought process. And they have a target of -8 or positive 8% net margin for the EV business by the end of 2026. But I'm curious if that will actually come to fruition. The only way I can see that happening is if they really get to their 2 million per unit, 2 million EVs sold per year target that they have. Now that's production capacity, but I think they actually have to produce those 2 million units per year and do so in a very efficient manner, with them being able to actually sell the products at a premium price versus their competition to be able to squeeze out a margin. So we'll see. They're laying out the groundwork. They're laying out the culture. Now it's just execution. But we both know execution is by far the hardest thing of this whole thing.
That's true.
You can do everything as much as you can, but if you're not executing, you're not executing.
That's absolutely true. And in Germany, we have a saying, I don't know if it's also in the US, but it's called the fish stinks from its head. And this means like if Jim Farley isn't telling the truth or is more secretive with everything, then the culture of the company will follow this as well. So,
right.
But if he's open and if he's just putting accountability in front, like you said, then I think real change will happen. And I think this also really hits Ford right in the guts of the workers there, because they are proud to work at Ford. Of course, it's an American company. People are like it's very tied to patriotism a little bit. Like it's a true American company. And then we see those kind of numbers. That's embarrassing. We can't do this. So this is good, I think. And it's going to ignite some people to really step up and be more competitive as well. And really step up and say, okay, we're going to tackle this EV stuff. And we're going to, Tesla is helping us, but still we want to make a at least competing product. And then they're going to step it up, I think, which is awesome.
Yeah, I can't say I've heard that fish saying out here. I've heard, I use the tail wagging the dog a lot. So like, you have a dog and it has a tail. And so the one saying is, the tail shouldn't be wagging the dog should be wagging the tail, right? So like the thought process is the tail isn't the one that's moving the dog's the one that's moving the tail. So it's got to be it's similar to what you're saying, but we're using a dog instead of the fish.
Okay, yeah.
And nothing stinks. It's just a
And
tail.
nothing stinks. That's true. Oh man, yeah. But I think they're on good path, and I also think that they're gonna, make it. I hope, of course. And the next thing we're gonna talk about here is something that VW is also struggling very much, and every other competitor of Tesla, of Ford, and in the auto industry, and that's to scale batteries actually. And this is pretty hard to do, and this is what Jim Farley said.
It's hard to scale battery plants. Like I have to tell you, building the plant's the easy part, but actually building cells in high quality at high scale is much harder than we thought, even though we've been building stuff for 120 years.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than we thought.
Yeah.
Next clip.
Yeah, it's just crazy, right? I think it's so great to hear finally about this, because Elon Musk talked about this stuff since 2006, okay? And he's shouting this into the forest and nobody's responding. He shouts, like, it's absolutely hilarious now to really hear this finally from the CEO. I mean, we knew that, and of course it's hard to do this, but how the press even dumps on Tesla all the time for everything, and for what Twitter is doing and what Elon Musk said on Twitter, and that's, we're not sympathetic with them anymore, and that's why we're gonna write hit pieces on Tesla on the whole, is now you hear something like this really gives them legitimacy, and it's very important. But what's your take on the battery situation?
I mean, I think the what I think about with those comments is, okay, so how many professional analysts came out and said that what Jim said is impossible, right? Oh, legacy automakers are just going to figure everything out. They're way bigger. You're telling me they can't figure it out?
Gordon Johnson.
There's many out there. him specifically. He's still saying it, which is very strange.
I know, it's so funny.
But we can talk about that.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
He blocked me because I retweeted a tweet at him from himself where he said that the Tesla Semi isn't possible. Like, it's not even, like, mechanically it's not possible. And it was a video of the Semi, of course, driving around from the Frito-Lay truck. But he blocked me then, sadly. But I wish I had him on the podcast. But still, please go on.
He blocked me for reasons I don't even know, because I actually gave him props. I said, Gordon, you have really good fashion sense. I said, I really think he has great fashion sense. It looks great. And then a few days later I was blocked. I'm like, okay, it is what it is. I just think he likes. I think him specifically. I think he thinks that the Tesla retail investment community is obnoxious and doesn't know what it's talking about, and we're noise, and that he's trying to block out the noise and just focus on signal. But I'll leave it there. But I think the fact that Jim has come out and said what he said makes a lot of the Tesla bear argument the weakest it's ever been, by far.
It's true.
The weakest it's ever been. And so now Tesla bears are going to have to figure out, and when I say bears, for those that are not familiar, the Tesla bear is basically a person who would invest against Tesla, or they are expecting the stock price to go down for Tesla. That's what a Tesla bears go in hibernation. That's why the term bear is used. Whereas bull is like aggressive and going up, and exactly.
Yeah.
So the Tesla bear argument has never been weaker. And if you're a bear who has the argument of Tesla is not going to do well because of multiple models, they don't offer multiple models. They're not going to do well because legacy automakers are going to be able to ramp faster because they have the expertise. They're not going to do well because they don't have anything unique that they're doing from a charging or battery or infotainment perspective, so on and so forth. They're not going to do well because every automaker is going to be able to match their margins. They're not going to do well because every automaker is going to be able to ramp faster. Okay? like you should not be in that profession anymore. If you're still parroting those lines right now, you are not good at your job. And so I hope that is obvious for people that follow that storyline. And this is not, I'm not trying to attack anyone personally. I'm just saying that it's obvious now that those folks are wrong. And so if you're going to be a Tesla bear, focus on other things. You know, like those arguments should be dead. To try to find other weaknesses. I mean, it's good. It's good to have people that are on the other side identifying these things. But if you're still parroting these lines, you should not be taken seriously.
That's a true statement. So absolutely. I totally agree there. Yeah, sorry, guys. It's the truth. Yeah, sadly, yeah. You're absolutely right. I think that's... Yeah, because I think also this now shows you in the stock is pumping right now pretty hard. And you can really see that. I think all those... Oh, sorry. Yeah. I love The Office as well.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself.
Yeah,